This episode of Champ and the Tramp is brought to you by none other than Corona Seltzer. Such a tasty beverage. We love it down here in the Champ and the Tramp room. I personally love hanging out in my backyard with it. How about you, Frank?
Yeah, man, backyard by the pool, kind of just kicking it even around the house, man. Put one of these down, definitely refreshing.
Absolutely.
Corona Seltzer. Get yours today.
But coming from where I came from, I said earlier in the show, my home was foreclosed on. I saw it. Yeah. Foreclosed on, knocked down, turned into a fucking parking lot. Still once or twice a week, I go and I stand in the parking spot because it's in my town. So I stand in the parking spot that my bedroom used to be just to kind of remember where I came from. And I live on now the nice street in my town in a multi-million-dollar house that I fucking bought for cash.
Good for you.
It's because of this work ethic. And a lot of people are like, Dolce, that's impossible. If this dumb motherfucker could do it, right. Honestly, if this motherfucker could do it, why can't other people?
Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, FE. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. We're never tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the Champ and the Tramp, let the bomb blast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Champ and the Tramp. We got a great guest in today. We have Mike Dolce in from Belmar, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Author of the Dolce Diet, 4-time MMA Trainer of the Year, right?
Sure, true.
Yeah, this is the man. If you want to know about fitness or getting in shape or a diet plan, this is the guy you want to talk to, man. And he's right here in Belmar, New Jersey. So also has a podcast, The Mike Dolce Show, so check that out as well.
Mike,
Thanks for coming in, brother.
Yeah, good having you, man.
Yeah, nice to be on.
Obviously, we go back being Jersey boys, you know. It was always good to see you at UFC events in the past and have a little hometown love and represented.
I appreciate that, brother. Likewise, seeing what you've done, man, you really put the state on the map with this. So everybody loves Frankie.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. So I know you were with the UFC like directly for a long time, right?
We were, yeah, and still do. You know, they send us some heavy, hard cases, let's say, so it's not, I'm not an employee of the UFC, but I'm certainly on their speed dial,
okay.
When shit goes a little sideways,
right,
which is nice.
Yeah.
Throw some names out there that Mike has trained, Ronda Rousey, Johnny Hendricks, Thiago Alves, Chael Sonnen, right? Some pretty big names this guy's had on his roster, so.
Yeah, and I like to say the worst of the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Had anybody that was in particular tough to get a weight cut?
Oh, Thiago.
I saw you had to cut like 45 pounds off Rampage or something like that, right?
45 and 51.
Wow,
51 for Machida, 45.
Machida?
Wow.
And he won the Machida fight coming down 51 pounds, right? Crazy.
How long do you have to do that?
Well, for Rashad, it was 45. That was 7 weeks and 6 days, right?
Wow.
So 45 pounds under 8 weeks. And that was, training camp was over in Liverpool, England. That was a tough one. Rainy, cold, just grimy.
Bloody Liverpool.
Yeah, with the Scousers over there. And then the Machida camp was about 10 weeks, but still 51 pounds in 10 weeks.
I never knew Machida got that heavy.
Not
No,
Machida.
he was getting ready for
Machida. Yeah,
okay. I gotcha.
And that was a grind.
Rampage, I know, gets a little heavy, so I could see that happening. But
yeah, and how is he a motivated guy? Is he?
He loves to spar
and
hit pads. So if it's sparring day, pad day, he's down.
Yeah.
Any other day, it was a challenge. And then he just wasn't a strength and conditioning guy, so he didn't want to do the road work. He didn't want to do the stuff that makes it easier to get the weight off, but also that keeps you healthy. It's all the prehab stuff that outside of the slanging and banging in the gym. It kind of keeps the machine together.
Yeah.
And just mentally, he didn't enjoy that stuff, and he definitely didn't enjoy the food. Like, he didn't enjoy dieting. He didn't enjoy anything clean or healthy, really. Even water was hard to get into him.
I've only ever seen him miss weight one time. I think it was in Japan, and he missed by a lot. Like
he was Bader.
Ryan Bader.
Yeah, fought that night.
Yeah, he was way off. But has he missed a lot?
Never with me.
Never with you.
And that was after we had worked together. But he did miss that Bader fight. I think it was 6 pounds or so. I do remember.
Oh, was that it? I thought it was a lot. I thought it was substantially more than that. Yeah,
6 pounds. Is,
6 pounds is a lot. But,
yeah, that's a whole nother zip code.
What's
right?
her name? What's the jiu-jitsu girl with the huge boobs that was out for a bit, had the baby? She missed by a huge amount.
Mackenzie Dern?
Mackenzie Dern missed by a ton of weight once.
I just feel like I don't know. You would know better if the guys that miss over that much. They just you're at the point where they just said, "Fuck it, let's be real," right?
It's funny you say that because the way I see it, if someone misses over 3 pounds, it's because they quit.
Right.
They quit on the way down.
Yeah.
You dry up under 3 pounds, then it becomes more of a medical issue, right?
Right.
You know, but even then, guys that will pull up, they'll get inside 3 pounds, and strategically they'll pull up on purpose, make it seem like they made it. They tried to do it. The commission will sanction it, but the last 3 pounds, man. Yeah. That's the hard. The first 30's easy. The last 3 are the hard ones.
Right. Yeah. So when you start getting dry.
Yeah.
Chris Cyborg notoriously has really hard cuts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's huge.
Just a big girl.
Huge for 45 even, right?
Right. Oh man, she is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cuts a lot. I mean, from what I hear, right, girls have a little bit harder time because the hormones and all that stuff as well.
Menstrual cycle, all that.
I call BS on that.
Yeah.
And this is not to be, sexist one way or the other. The way I see it, and I think this is probably liberating for the ladies here, is it's every human's different. The physiology per individual is completely unique the way we see it. When we say lady time, and I work with a lot of the ladies, on the combat sports, and we expect it to be their menstrual cycle. We bake it into the cake 8 weeks out, 10 weeks out. We plan it to happen. And most of the time it happens anyway due to the stress. Like normally they're on a 28-day cycle. All of a sudden day 22 and it shows up because of the stress and fight week or however that works out. So we plan for it. But no, I don't buy into that. When people say that shame on them. Right, it's like for if a guy were to wake up and blame I had a tummy ache, therefore I didn't make weight the next day.
Blue balls. Roger blames blue balls.
Well, that's fair due to the swelling. I mean,
he likes to make jokes at my demise often. That's his go-to.
Of course, so hence the Tramp, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, yeah, but I see what you're saying. So then, no, you think it's just. That's just a built-in excuse, in a sense?
It's not going to matter now because now men can fight in women's sports, so really it doesn't matter at this point.
Which is fucking crazy.
Crazy, right?
And we see it a little bit in weightlifting now.
Yeah.
You see that Connecticut track runner?
Yeah, dude.
Just smoking the competition. It's crazy.
How is that fair?
I feel bad for women's sports.
Crazy.
I do. It's not fair, and I'm not trying to be in any way disrespectful to the trans community. But how is that biologically fair?
There appears to be a clear-cut advantage, and we can look at gender and puberty, and there's a bunch of metrics that go into it. Mm-hmm. But past a certain point, can individuals choose their gender through medical means? Sure, I'm fine with that. People can choose, do whatever you want. Right. But if you take a biological female who's born and lives as a biological female, competes as a biological female, and then you get another entrant into that competition that has a biological advantage, which I think is clear cut. I don't think that's controversial.
I think science speaks for itself there, yeah.
Right? It's fucking hard to see that. And I got 2 daughters.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, you're essentially phasing out women's sports in that.
That's it.
I just wonder though, let's be real. How many dudes are really gonna be like, fuck it, bro, I'm just gonna say I'm a chick. I hope not many that are trying to just get the edge. Will they? But if you leave that door open for them, there's gonna be people who do it, right?
If you never had a top 10 finish in your sport, as a male athlete, and then you transition over and you compete in women's, and you're immediately the number 1 qualifier every time.
Yeah,
I mean that should tell you everything it needs to tell you about. You have an unfair advantage, you know. So
and
you wouldn't see that vice versa. You would never see that, in if it was the opposite way, where men were going into women's sports, it would be, the opposite where women were going into men's sports. You'd never see, they would not be. It would be devastating, but it's really killing women's sports. It really is.
Be an interesting statistic to see how many biological females try and transition, but then they'd be on hormone replacement.
Right.
Legal, right? So that would happen. But I also think about college. Man, if you're kind of on the cusp to you can't quite get to the D1 school on a scholarship, but if you did let's say an unscrupulous person might say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm going to identify as a different gender.
Yeah.
So I can actually, this
And now
opens
you get money.
a loophole
Now you
for
get
that.
money to go to school.
Fucking 100 G's a year, maybe, right?
Yeah.
That's real
Kills
money now.
women's scholarships as
Right,
well. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a tough one, man, because we live in a new world. You don't want to be disrespectful to anybody or what their choices are, but also there has to be a level of fairness.
But I think that was what you said about how, like, a woman wants to, like, in wrestling. I think it happened in Texas. I think maybe I have it wrong, but I think a woman wanted to wrestle with men, because she was transitioning to be a man.
Yeah. They
wouldn't let her, and now she's getting all this, taking all this, testosterone stuff to be a man. She's crushing the women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's almost like it works against them in that way too. You know?
Who's the MMA fighter?
That was Fallon Fox.
Fallon
right?
Fox, yeah. But Fallon Fox actually got beat by a woman.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
by
crazy
Jermaine
is that?
Durand to me.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Jermaine, was it?
Yeah.
Was it Jermaine?
I believe.
No.
I think no.
No.
I said,
No?
wow.
I
That's,
don't think so.
yeah.
Can you pull that up?
I thought it
Fallon
was.
Fox was beat by a woman. I don't think it's Jermaine Durand to me. I could be wrong. Frankie knows the fight game better
I
than
thought
I
it
do,
was,
but anyway,
Roger knows.
I mean, either she was a poor MMA fighter or not a great MMA fighter, or the girl that beat her was just a fucking badass bitch.
Sure.
One of the two.
And that's possible too, right?
Yeah, I mean, but still, like the bone structure, their hands, like everything's bigger, bro. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially you're a man most of your life. I mean, it's just you're a fucking man, dude. Right?
I know, but so what is? How does this get sorted? I mean, with the new administration, that's the way it is. So how does it get sorted?
I guess it's been sorted.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel bad
Even though it's unfair.
I feel bad for
Our
true
daughters,
female
really.
athlete. No, my daughter is too young to be a real athlete yet. But if
No,
she
but
was,
yeah, but I'm saying,
if she
especially,
was, and she got
if
robbed
there's people dealing with it now,
of a scholarship,
you don't think when they're that age, not going to deal with it? You know,
10 years from now,
Right,
what does
yeah.
this turn into?
right?
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Got a name on that, buddy, or no? I think it's the only Fallon Fox loss. Ashley Evans Smith. Yeah,
okay.
that's
She's a
it.
UFC fighter.
Okay.
She's tough. She's a tough little girl.
I watched some of that fight. I don't think I watched the whole thing, but it wasn't.
It's like anything though. Skill does matter too.
Right.
Skill
Absolutely.
definitely does matter.
Absolutely.
But if you take an even, like say, even playing field, the guy that's the person that has been a man most of their life is most likely going to be stronger, fitter, all those things.
Yeah. And that's
Unfortunately.
scientifically supported, right?
Yeah,
they
yeah.
know that. Bone density
and you get labeled a bigot if you talk about science nowadays, so it's kind of crazy.
I don't know.
It depends on which part of science you support, though, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, of
Right,
course.
You don't wear the mask, you're denying science.
Yeah.
Say people got to lose weight. And you know,
I know. You're
Those,
right.
those are our most
Yeah.
controversial shows talking about
Yeah.
that, and we've kind of taken a little break from talking about it. But yeah, man, I mean, we've had Ian Smith on this show.
Yeah,
and
I watched that
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Yep.
He's no stranger to controversy, and people get fucking heated about that, man. They are so invested in their belief that you are a threat to their personal health, even though they're wearing the mask.
Yep.
That I mean, the comments are just downright hateful.
It's fucking
It's
crazy.
crazy.
And we know the mask doesn't work.
Well, according to Fauci,
Right, we know that,
According
right?
to Fauci, now you're supposed to double and triple up on them. So,
But Fauci said don't wear it, and the Surgeon General said don't
Yeah.
wear it, right?
Yeah.
Now they're
Yeah.
saying wear it. But
right,
here's a great one. You have to wear it in a restaurant. You walk in any restaurant or barista and
take it
whatnot,
off immediately when you sit down.
and you see this.
Yeah.
The whole time they're touching the moist
Yeah.
area of their nostril and their mouth, right?
Right.
And then they're touching your baguette or whatever else, and they're ringing the register.
Yeah.
They're touching your tables. The salt and pepper
It
shaker
makes no
they're
sense.
touching the mucus essentially.
Right.
That's fine because they got the mask on. Somehow it doesn't transfer. Or like when you sit at your table, it doesn't transfer. You're cool.
Right. You're sitting down, bro. You're good.
It don't work there.
Frankie and I, even though
And after 10, after 10.
yeah, only
comes
attacks you after 10. But we're of kind of the same concept, the same idea, thought process that you have. But we've kind of just given up talking about it because we wear our masks where we have to.
Of
Because
course.
I'm never going to hold a local business responsible for something the governor has put in place.
Yep.
We wear it where we have to.
Yep.
The moment I don't have to wear that fucking thing, it's off my face. I don't feel like I need it. I'm young, healthy. We could touch on this. We haven't talked about this because we took like a month off because obviously Frankie was in fight camp. But my daughter, this is going back about a month ago. My daughter, I dropped her off on a Monday morning at their mother's, and she went to school. Late in the day, I got a call from the nurse. Jenny got a call as well. Said your daughter saying she doesn't feel well, has a sore throat. So it was late in the day. We thought she was just trying to play hooky, get out of school. She did. She's done this once before. Came home, played, and nothing was wrong, and just wanted to get out. So we wanted to let her know that you're not going to make a habit of this. So I think Jenny gave her a little tough love and said, listen, you better not be making stuff up or whatever. And there's no real. I mean, how do you check if a kid's got a sore throat? A kid can say whatever. So. But school policy was, because of her symptoms, which were essentially just a sore throat, she had to go get a COVID test, right, to get admitted back to school. So Jenny takes her immediately right from school to a friend of hers. It's a doctor. They do the rapid test, comes back negative. She texts me negative. I was like, well, this is what I thought it would be, Not that I was overly concerned. She's young, healthy, even if she had it, which I think almost all of us are going to get it at some point, right, that she would be totally fine. But so I wasn't overly concerned, but I didn't think she had it because she was at my house all weekend, totally fine, not a single symptom, nothing. Rapid was negative, takes the PCR test at the same time. That takes about 24 hours to come back. So that came in at some point late Tuesday night. I wake up Wednesday morning to a text from my ex that says it's a positive test. Right. So I'm like, holy shit, holy fuck. So now I don't know what to do. Yeah. I my job, I have to go through a whole checklist every morning to even start my day. So I don't want to put anybody in danger, even though, my personal view of it might not be their personal view. So I'm trying to be respectful. I call my boss Wednesday morning.
Work.
Huh?
You just didn't want to work.
No, not at all, bro. Not at all. So I call my boss. I'm like, what is protocol here? I had direct exposure. He's like, well, you got to go get a test, So I'm like, all right. So when Milani's test came back positive on Tuesday, she took another PCR test, Wednesday morning. So took another one right there on the spot. I went Wednesday morning, stood in line, went and got my rapid test, came back negative. So I said, well, my question to the nurse was, well, my daughter's rapid test was negative. She took a PCR, which came back positive. Why does this negative hold any merit? I mean, can I be positive if she was positive? Not that I wanted to take the PCR test. I didn't at all. I don't want to be put on some government no-fly list or some shit. Yeah. So
you're already on that list.
Yeah. So I said, well, I want the antibodies test because I'm confident that I had this. Not that I had any symptoms. I just think that if you're healthy and young and it's probably going to run through all of us at some point. And way back in December, not of this year, of last year, I had some of the symptoms, and I was actually in Florida, but it was before it was even talked about, so I had no idea what I had. Yep. But I think it goes way back to then, which is kind of just when it made landfall over here. So I did the antibodies test. That came back the next day. I have the antibodies. So at some point in time, I either didn't know I had it or I had it over a year ago, right? So then my daughter's test comes back. The third test she took, that comes back negative. So she got a negative rapid, a positive PCR, and the following day, the following day after her PCR, she retested, and that came back negative, all in 48 hours. So it's like, what? I don't know what to believe. Was she a false positive?
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
So what data they go off of? And this is the hard thing because we talk about science denial. If you ask a question, you're denying science. Yeah.
But how are you supposed to figure anything out without asking questions?
Right. Yeah. Right? We don't know because we don't know what it is.
The scientific experts contradict themselves a lot.
Constantly.
So why is it wrong for me to ask questions?
It's funny. I've had a few virologists and doctors on my show, and one of which, Dr. David Hawkes from Australia, had him on in the springtime when it really busted open. And his job is nasty viruses, right? This is what he does. He works in the lab and does this thing. And he was saying, it's like, listen, I'm riding to work every day on the bus, no gloves, no mask. I get there, I wash my hands, the whole thing, soap and water, happy birthday twice. The stuff we tell our kids to do, just to raise them properly, is what this virologist is saying to do. Uh-huh. Is the COVID strain nasty? Well, it could be, but he's like, I work with this and this and this, stuff that if the top opens, you have to leave the room for 30 minutes, right. And they do the whole hazmat. I'm not, giving it, good explanation here of what he had said, but essentially, his concept was what we said earlier: is if you have some sort of health issue, severe health issue, comorbidity, you are highly susceptible, just like pneumonia or cold season. These other things you should be aware of. You take greater precaution. If you don't have these issues, if you're of a healthy weight, you're of a fit, of lifestyle, you don't have some of these other, ticking time bombs, which is essentially what they are, because a lot of different life issues can turn on some of our genetic time bombs. Again, I'll go back to that. Well, COVID seems to be one of those things, right? You travel all the time. I travel all the time. I was traveling when January, February, UFC Houston. I'm in LAX. I'm in Houston International. I'm in Newark. I'm in Vegas. I'm bopping all around. Well, COVID is rampant at this point.
And planes are filled to capacity.
Stacked.
It's insane, right?
It's funny. I traveled in September in the middle of the COVID crisis. Dude, shoulder to shoulder, people with their masks off, chilling on these planes.
Make it make sense.
And it was.
But if you question it, the believers will fucking rape you.
And it was I'm sitting there, I'm looking around, and I'm like, everybody here is packed. Literally, you're touching each other, right, the whole time, eating food, talking, doing this whole thing, and every so often people put their masks on and off. But then you can't walk in your local hardware store without being, hazmat, 3 people in the store, and the store can fit probably, 30 people at a time.
Right. But you can go to Walmart and you can be
balls
72 deep in line. It makes no sense.
No,
it makes no sense.
So the ability, and I actually got an Instagram ban or shadow ban actually on Instagram, because I spoke if you wear the mask but walk around at high BMIs over 30, you're actually denying science also. We can be proactive. I can't help who sneezes on me, but I can certainly manage my own BMI. I can get outside. I can exercise. I can take supplemental vitamin C.
Now, why is that? Why would you, as a guy that's in the know, does the history, does the data, has made this your life's work? Why would you get a ban for just speaking the truth?
Bro,
I mean, it's insane.
It's a
hypothetical
because they don't
question,
fit the agenda that they want.
Correct.
The masses
I knew the answer to it, but I wanted to hear him say.
Okay,
it.
I'm sorry.
That blew my mind, because I didn't it never affected me. I'm a fitness dude. I'm not a controversial guy. I'm pretty I'm trying to help people really, and that was the tone. I didn't even think it was controversial. And I'm not saying wear your mask, follow the rules, don't get in trouble, the whole thing. But man, you better go for a walk. Stop eating the Doritos and the queso at 11 o'clock at night, Netflix and chilling. You need to tone it back a little bit.
How does he know, Roger?
Busted. And that
so damn good,
that was the tone of it.
So yummy.
From there, I was getting 1,000 new followers a week or so. Because your metrics, right? You got that growth for years. It was just growing nice and steady. All of a sudden, I was getting negative. For every I was losing 800 followers a week, and not because now all of a sudden they hate my fucking quinoa pasta post, right? Because it was that one post, but from there it was off the cliff, and I've been stuck at the same level for
mine actually went down
a year or so now.
Mine actually went down recently, and I'm like, why would that be? But listen, I'm not. It's not about a popularity contest. I'm still going to be me. I'm never gonna speak things that I don't actually live and believe in just to be popular.
Okay.
So I'm good, buddy. Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay with that?
I'm crying a little bit on the inside. I'm crying on the inside, but you can't see it. I'll call you later. Pick me up out of the shower. My dad's in Maine.
None of this made sense from the get-go. I think that's the biggest thing that gets me, Just even now we're on the planes, I just flew back. We're on the plane, it's fucking literally shoulder to shoulder. They're like, we're releasing the plane by rows now. Dude, we're just literally shoulder to shoulder the whole fucking time. Now you're going to tell us we have to separate to get off this motherfucker? Come on. It doesn't make sense.
Logical sense whatsoever.
No, it's crazy. And who are we listening to? It's funny because the people who are making the rules would never let you into their house. They might let Frankie into their house, right? Everybody fucking loves Frankie. But you and I, let's say, they don't give a fuck about us. Most of these politics. I worked in politics for a little bit, local politics.
A lot of them have been very hypocritical and been caught.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. And it's not for the public good. Politicians are public servants. That's the role. That's what they should be. But they're not. Most of them, it's an ego trip, unfortunately. And people who rise in politics often don't care to serve the people. They start to serve the needs of those who support them.
Well, 40, 50 years in, when you've been in politics for 40, 50 years, most of your entire adult life, I think you lose the spectrum of what you're there for. You know what I mean? You start to become a little. It
becomes the game, right? Just, how do I get reelected? That's all it is. How do I please my lobbyists?
There should definitely be term limits.
Agreed. Senate and Congress, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
No
they're there.
question.
You got look at guys, and I'm all sides, right? They're all
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
dirty.
All
to be
sides,
fair,
yeah.
So this isn't Republican or
Right.
Democrat or anything. But you look at guys like Bernie, who campaigns on being a socialist. The man's a multimillionaire with 3 homes.
Yeah.
How does that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't see how that actually makes sense because the words that he says do not match the life that he lives.
Yeah.
If he truly was,
Right.
man, he'd be living in a little 1-bedroom, nice. He doesn't have to have bad things, but he'd be living a simple life. All that would be gone to charity. Maybe would have built a little school or something like that, right? But that doesn't happen,
Right.
and on all sides, again, just to be clear for all the people out there that are getting
Sure,
pissed
yeah,
off.
it's on both sides, no
So
question.
that doesn't seem to make sense. So when they do then try and set policy, they've already taught us, in my opinion, that they're biased.
Right.
How do I trust you, dude? It's funny to bash Bernie here for another second. He came out like when he was running for president, and he's like, small businesses that are owned by family of 4 people have to pay $40,000 per year to keep their health insurance. I was like, whoa, I run a small family business in New Jersey, and I'm a family of 4, and I pay $18,500 to have great fucking, and that's expensive to mind you, like $18K a year to have health care I never fucking use. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's less than half of what Bernie was telling the entire country is what the average American has to pay. And we're in one of the most expensive states.
Hell yeah.
So that was another reason I was like, this motherfucker is either lying intentionally or his staff is completely incompetent. But both issues are a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No
Both
question.
issues make
No
me not
question.
trust them.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And these go green guys, the people that
Hey,
preach.
don't shit on my Tesla stock, homie. Hey, now.
No, I'm not. I'm not hating on that at all.
Keep that.
They're Pelosi. That fly private jets everywhere and
Yeah,
put
Al
just
Gore.
tons of metric tons of carbon into the atmosphere, and then will land their private jet and then preach to the masses about how important it is to be green.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're not living what you're preaching in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
It's such hypocrisy,
Absolutely, man.
All right, well, let's get back to.
Yeah, man, we
How
we're
can
gonna get shadow banned.
Where's my tinfoil hat?
How can we get Roger down to light heavy?
All right, what do you weigh right now?
250.
I gotta put that beer down first.
Yeah.
First things first.
I have never. So I grew up in a little tiny town in Maine.
No sports. They had no sports. This town had no sports.
We
That's
didn't
what he
have.
wants to tell you.
We didn't have much. We didn't have much. We had the basics.
You had,
We had-
barbells, bro. Look at that photo.
We had.
Goddamn.
No. Maine didn't have barbells. New Jersey had steroids.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, I had a varsity ladder in fly fishing and log rolling. Yeah.
Okay, fair. That's a good one.
And sister kissing.
No. Oh. Don't you have a sister?
I know, but I didn't participate in that event.
Yeah. So my whole life I had a growth spurt like my junior year of high school when I was 6'4". Before tall, lanky, skinny dude. So my entire life, like when you're tall and skinny, you want to be bigger, bro. Sure. So. I didn't join a gym until I was like 27 years old. It was Jersey, yeah. 27 or 28. First gym. Probably spent the first year in a gym, like really not fucking knowing what I was doing. Too much pride to ask anybody, like, yo, give me a hand. I trained with my buddy Danny that went there for social. What's up, Danny Bonder? Went there with him for like a year. That he just went there to pick up chicks and social hour and shit. We didn't really work out. I was like, but then I was like, I want to be a bigger guy. So I never have done a diet my entire life, never been on a diet. I just do common sense. You know what I mean? Like you get out what you put in, basically is what it is. Now, that's not saying that I don't ever eat shitty, but I don't eat shitty on a regular basis. But I've never done a diet. I probably should because I'm 45 now. Yeah. I probably have more body fat than I've ever had right now at this point in my life, especially in my gut. So I probably should do a diet for the first time in my life. So maybe we will talk. But
you feel like it's a diet, or is it just? It's got to be your lifestyle, right? I mean,
right.
if it's going to be like a whole.
Well, but I feel like
something
I
you
live
do
a
every
lifestyle.
day.
Yeah, and it is the lifestyle. What you eat is a part of the lifestyle, and that's the approach that we take. It's not the chicken and the quinoa, man. That's the easy stuff. Everyone knows that. So why aren't you doing the things you need to be doing to live a healthier life? Now, I'm not saying you're not healthy or not happy, but in general, those people listening right now, people know as they sit there in the quiet times, they're all alone, you know where you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Those are the things we need to start addressing, but most people hide away from that. And I say that we lie to ourselves more than we lie to anybody else in the world. right? You will constantly lie to yourself. You will build this narrative about how great you are, how hard you work, how special, how deserving. You've earned it, and it's all fucking bullshit, right? Everybody needs to put in the fucking work, and we all need to suffer a little bit. We need to go through that bite down moment, that delayed gratification, and we need to be pushing these things farther down the road. It's like you wake up, man, you're cold, you're cold, you're tired, you're sore, dude, you're fucking lonely, you're scared, like all this shit. It's get the fuck up. Man, you got to get the fuck up, put on your shoes, walk out the door, and go. Right. No matter how you feel. Right. It's the same thing with nutrition. Like nutrition for me is I do 1,000 consultations a year. I do 4 consultations a day, 5 days a week with regular folks, non-athletes, and that's a different part of my business. I make it a point to speak with these people around the world every day to see what's happening out there, and I'm addicted to it now. I don't care if you're in Sri Lanka, you're in Singapore, you're in fucking Montreal, or wherever else you are. These people are from all backs, all backgrounds, $1 billion and fucking broke, almost homeless, right? It's all the same bullshit. Everyone, they're just like, oh man, I just don't, I know I should be doing it, but I'm not doing it. Right. And why not? It's like, man, it comes down to a hug. Right. You either got a fucking hug when you didn't deserve it, or you didn't get a hug when you probably did, and you need to get over that shit and just start fucking moving. So kind of like, condensing like a bigger conversation here. But it all comes down, like, what's your goal? Yeah. Man, I need to fucking lose weight. Like, all right, well, put down the fucking beer. I'm going to use you now as the muse. Sure. Put down the fucking beer. Right. What are you going to do now? I'm going to grab a glass of water. I'm going to drink the fucking water. I'm going to go home and eat something clean. For sure. I'm going to keep good, healthy, fresh things moving through. You know what? I'm not watching Netflix tonight. I got to get up at 6 tomorrow. I'm going to bed at 9 tonight. I'm going to get a good solid 8 hours of sleep. Boom, I'm going to wake up before the fucking alarm goes off. I'm not going to deal with that stress in my life. I'm going to start easing into a different lifestyle, to your point. And that's what it is. Yep. From there, we start gaining momentum. But most people, they'll fucking pull the covers back over their head. Yep. I'm sore, I'm tired, I'm scared, I'm lonely. I deserve to lay here. I worked so hard yesterday. It's like, no, you didn't, motherfucker. Not one of us worked hard enough yesterday. Right. And we can certainly work harder today. That's my attitude. And that's kind of really what I try to instill in people. You don't have to be a bikini fucking chick.
You probably get a lot of calls and a lot of interest January 1 of every year, I bet. And then people just don't seem to have longevity in it because
it's year-round.
There's comfort in being lazy. I mean, there's comfort in like just grabbing a donut at 10 p.m. and eating it. I mean,
But it's comfort. Not comfort. That is...
Well, it's instant gratification.
It's hiding. Yeah. You do that to get the dopamine hit to feel better, and as soon as you fucking swallow that, you feel like a piece of shit.
I agree. Yeah. That's why I try not to do that.
And the self-loathing kicks in.
I say it all the time. I mean, I've gone on record many times saying, not talking about the diet part of it, but going to the gym, which I think should always be coupled with diet. Yeah. I don't fucking enjoy working out, man. I don't like lifting weights. I'm not in there like fucking. And I see some dudes on Instagram and shit that I really think love it. I don't.
Not at this stage, right?
I don't. Yeah. But I like how I feel when I leave there. Yeah. I really like how I feel when I walk out of there.
Then you like it. Yeah. Then you like it.
Yeah. I guess so.
You know what I mean?
I don't like the I like the euphoric feeling of saying you're not like everybody else. You came here, you put in work, and when you have your 25-year high school reunion, hopefully you don't look like everybody else. You look a little different,
But how about this? Like, how much more is it your diet than training? People don't realize that.
Oh, bodies are made in the kitchen, right?
It's all diet,
right?
Yeah, training is. It's funny. The longer I've been doing this, the more I realize training has almost no impact if your diet isn't set. If your diet's set, then training is really going to sculpt something special.
Right.
If the diet isn't in place, I don't care what you do. And we all have buddies. Man, they're actually pretty serious about the gym. Yep. They come home, they eat like shit. They fucking look terrible. They die of a heart attack at 58. Yeah. Right? It's because their diet is a mess. I use it. Get 2 twin brothers. One eats perfectly, doesn't do anything, just goes for walks. 30-minute walk a day, works his job, good posture, does a little bit of yoga, whatnot. Perfect diet, organic, everything, right? Not a vegan, omnivore, but perfect everything. And you got the other bro. Man, he's running, 3 miles a day. He's slanging the weights. He's doing a little kickboxing class, but he's ordering pizzas and pork, egg, and cheese, box of donuts on the weekend, hitting the brunches, wings and beer. Who looks better? Yep. Who's fitter? Who lives longer? Yep. That's the easy one, right? We know that right out of the gate. So, again, diet is everything. And diet's the easiest thing to control. It's all day. It's what you do, right? Because I have to eat again. So then it's a choice. Yep. I'm choosing now to either be healthy or to be sick. And we try and instill the concept of it's very black and white. You need to be mindful of your decisions. You need to be intentional of your decisions. You need to take accountability for those decisions. It's like, man, dude, fuck, my daughter's birthday was the other day. I come home and there's birthday cakes just sitting on my table after I got home from the gym. Like, nope, like, bam, hit the way, like, get and we got great food already. The healthy food's already sitting in the house. It's not like cake is the only thing sitting there. It's like,
does Mike Dolce ever have a cheat day? Ever?
Never.
Never.
Cheat day, my wife won't let me.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. We have an earned meal.
Yep.
Cheating is negative. Why would I have this negative association? But an earned meal
Fair. Yep.
is something I can work towards.
Okay.
And this actually started with Chael back for the Anderson fight. It was, he's like, man, and
Saw he said some nice things about you.
Chael?
Yeah.
He's a man. Chael's awesome. I don't want to blow his cover, but he's actually a really good guy, right? We know. Chael.
Absolutely.
But the earned meal is, you're like, oh, every Sunday fun day, man. It's a cheat day. Like, look at you fat fuck. Like, you didn't earn that. Why do you get to eat a pizza, blow your diet on Sunday? It takes 3 days to actually break back to zero after one bad meal. All that nasty impacted food matter, what it does to your blood sugar on a hormone level, it just disrupts your digestion, systemic inflammation throughout the body. One bad meal will set you back 3 full days. So if I have a bad meal on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, shot, I don't get to zero until Thursday. Then I got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm fucked again on Sunday. Yeah. Those are the people we see in the gym, 3 sets of 10 on the bench press. Like, dude's in here every night. They're in here every night, but they're doing about the same thing. Yeah. They don't look any fucking different because they're doing that Sunday fun day, cheat day, that mentality. So what we do, and it's not like, no, live. At my kid's birthday party, yeah, I had cake at my kid's birthday party. I had some pizza, but that morning I got up, I crushed a fucking nasty squat workout. I went and did bear crawls in the sand dunes. Like, I dropped my carbs in the 2 days prior knowing I'm going to crush some food because mentally I had to earn that. Right. That becomes the mentality. I woke up the day after her birthday probably looking the best I looked in 2 months because everything just filled back out again.
And I think we're the same age, too. 45, right?
Yep, 45 in April. Yep. So right there. And
I'm June, so we're right there. Yeah.
It's harder. Yeah. As you get older, that's certainly true. We know that. But we can always control nutrition. Right. I'm not at some square, right? I'm a totally fucking normal dude. Pork roll, egg, and cheese, right? This is where we live, man. Hard to be healthy here. Mm-hmm. But, dude, I want to see my great-grandkids. Yeah. I want to be a part of that. So then it's like either health or sickness. It's my choice. So every meal in front of me, it's a simple choice. And this is something that I hope that people embrace in life. You have the power. I think you showed that. Your career shows that. Who you are as a man shows that. In spite of adversity, you can still fight and fucking win and overcome it. Right? You do not have to just fucking bend over and cow down and quit and take a knee. Fuck you, motherfucker. Like, I'm moving forward, right? That type of attitude. Right. But that type of attitude should be applied to every aspect of life. Agree. And I think people at home need to know that because everyone at home has that in them. Yeah. There's a battle they're fighting, right?
Have you always been programmed like that your whole life? Like, would have that passion?
I grew up in a really bad environment. And I think it wasn't intentional. But I needed to get out, right? I needed to fight my way out. Poverty and like no heat, electricity, no running water in my home. Lived in my car my senior year of high school. Like nobody knew. It was all like, so I like hid this thing. I was trying to be normal, like fighting. But I started working when I was 8 years old in earnest. My father had a massive stroke. Like lights got shut off, no food, go to school to eat food, breaking into local rec center to like take a shower to be normal and whatnot. So that kind of forced this thing in me, whatever it is, which, man, I could have been like drugs or like working for collecting, I was working for a bookie for a while, like, coming up around here, there's easy ways to go off track. Yeah. So I found wrestling, I found discipline, like I really found that approach and I knew I had to channel this in a positive way. I can serve people, I can help people, like I can, and I had an aptitude for science, thankfully, like honors math, honors science, never tried, never studied, and just came to me, thank God. And I went with that, right? So that kind of pushed me in this direction, and I just ran with it and kept going, So it's like every day I wake up like the lights are about to get shut off in my house, right? I know it's not going to fucking happen. We're good. Right. But inside me, man, it's
Lights
like
that fire.
It's right there. So to answer your question, not intentional, but if a dude like me can fucking move forward in life and hit a couple goals, relative to my ability, everybody can do it,
Right.
because most people have great opportunity, right? They have a solid foundation to start with. So then it's all this like the hug issue. We got to get over that shit, man. Yeah, I had a sob story too. Like, people got worse stories.
Yeah.
Some people don't have as bad. Either fucking way, it doesn't matter. What are you gonna do today?
Yeah.
You're gonna eat a fucking piece of pizza now? Your doctor just said you got high cholesterol. You know, LDL's fucking off the charts. HDL's in your shoes.
Right.
What are you gonna do? You got 2 kids at home.
Right.
Like that type of attitude. And these are kind of the conversations I have during those consults with people. And they're like, holy shit. Like, and the doctor's like, yeah, you're right. You know, just, you know, take a little pill.
Well, I think
You know,
that's
you'll be
true.
good.
When you're constantly referencing something that happened in your life, you know, and it was, and I'm not saying I've, you know, gone through any crazy adversities or anything, but when you're constantly referencing that and that's your point for failure, you kind of never really get to live your life, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of people get stuck on that.
Yeah.
They get stuck of, you know, some little trauma. We all have them.
Yeah.
But dude, that was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That was yesterday even. That was this morning. Now what?
Right.
Kind of that attitude. We know. And another thing is we focus on 3 years. So 3 years from now, where you want to be. We sit down. It's like, dude, tell me what you've fucking been up to. It's like, bro, like, bang, bang, bang. You start just rattling off wins. In order for that to happen, what do you need to do right now? For that to happen, the cruise, the pyramids, the fucking jets, like the dynasty. What do you need to do today?
Right.
Next, it's like literally, it's that next decision.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Does that involve whatever this nonsense is we're about to do? No. Well, that's an easy decision. So it's a great way for us to stay accountable, I think, in order to hit that, especially when it comes to fitness, right? Deal with a lot of people, once again, that they're, you know, the 25 to 55-year-old demographic, and they're all fucking sliding off the cliff. Like 76% of 76% of American adults are either overweight or obese.
We're the highest in the world as far as countries go.
We're certainly up there. We're one of, if not, we always kind of, you know, we're out right there. It's first world nations because we have everything. We don't have to fight for our food anymore.
Right.
We don't have to walk anymore. I mean, who here gets food delivered to their front porch, right?
Uber Eats, right?
Right.
What about stress? Stress is a big factor, right?
It's the killer.
Yeah.
Silent killer, and we all have it.
Yeah.
You know.
I worry about that with myself because I wear my stress hard, and I always have my entire life, and I think you're just programmed a certain way, and you know, I would love to think there are things I probably should do. I'll never be a medication guy. I went that route for a very brief period and didn't work out. It didn't have any benefits to it that I could see. But I probably should do some more shit like Jesse does. I probably should like meditate, and you know, you hear that word meditate, and you're like, I'm a fucking man's man. I'm not gonna fucking meditate. But I mean, it's a holistic way to address that issue. Yep. Obviously, you're in, you know, what you put in your body is another way to address that. But yeah, I've always worn my stress on my sleeve, man. I always have. So I hope that I'm not one of those stats for my kids where I drop dead at fucking 58 because stress took such a toll on me. But it's just. It's hard to reverse something that you've been programmed to, and there's a lot of things that I should be doing to be proactive to address them. Things like meditation. You know, I probably should. We have a good friend, Jesse, that meditates every day, and he's kind of lives
He also
by it.
suns his asshole. So,
Yeah.
Take it for a grown
Whoa.
Bro, he does weird shit. He puts like glasses of water out on his lawn when it's a full moon, so they like.
No, crystals.
No, that's in his water. No, full moon. He does it too.
Yes, no, he charges his crystals in the full moon.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But then drinks the
And then
water.
drinks the-
He does some crazy shit. He internally ejaculates into himself. Yeah, he does. He does some weird shit. But yeah.
Fucking covers it.
He puts
got himself pregnant last week.
I like to meet Jesse. Maybe not shake his
He's a
hand.
good dude. He's in phenomenal shape. He's like fucking 6% body fat or something. But
All right.
yeah. So I should take
got a tan hiney hole.
Yeah, tan asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Stress is real. Everyone suffers from it. We all have it. You have to be aware of it. You have to address it.
But doesn't that it's cortisol, right? Cortisol is the hormone you release when you stress out, and that makes like losing weight hard, right?
Yes. So like, if you're, let's say, cutting weight, right? Mm-hmm. Man, how often have you been in? Maybe not you. I'm not sure, but most athletes' weight cuts are very stressful. And they're like, dude, I just dried up. I stopped sweating. It's because you were freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because they were literally, your team was trying to kill you, locking you in a fucking sauna, making you fucking pummel for 2 hours or whatever it was. that whole stress-inducing environment, there's a whole array, and it's individually unique to the person, but it's similar in general, that there are these stress hormones that are released, and they are survival hormones. Fight or flight, cortisol is released, kind of fight or flight. At the same time, they are inflammatory by nature, and they disrupt a lot of what the body should naturally do, right? So each person is slightly different with that. But like when we oversee weight cuts, fucking cool, bro. God, I wish we could smoke weed and cut weight at the same time, right?
That's what I really need in my
attitude.
life. I really need. That's what I need in my life.
Some weed.
Some weed, but I can't do it because of my job, you know. But that would probably
shit.
level
It's a
me right.
shame. It's a
That would
shame.
probably level me right out.
What's your job?
I'm in the union. I'm a union guy, yeah. So we get randoms all the time, and
Hopefully, in my brother-in-law works for Transit,
Yep.
and man,
so does Ligori.
it'd be better for him for sure also, but he can't because of the
Right,
job. I get it.
right.
So when I was out in Nevada, weed became legal when I was there, right? It was awesome. And it was like, but you couldn't do it on the job. But slowly all the jobs started to fall and open it up.
Right.
So hopefully now in Jersey, maybe you're still 2 years out,
Right.
but all of a sudden those will start to fall because now it's legal, it's medicinal, there's these benefits,
Right.
and then it's like, on the job you can't, but how do they tell? Then they start to focus on thresholds. I
I
wasn't.
read something too that like a microdose of mushrooms or what is it? What is the psilocybin?
Yeah.
Just like a microdose of that one time has the same effects as antidepressants that will carry you through like an entire month.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's crazy. I feel like that's what I need in my life, but I'm scared to death to do it because I don't want to lose my job.
No, you don't mess with that, of
Right.
course.
But I would never go the alternative, and that I did it once, and it was heavy medication, and I saw very little results. If anything, I think it made it worse, and I cold turkeyed it, and I literally, you're not supposed to cold turkey that stuff, especially that. I was crying at tampon commercials. I spent about 6 months just crying and.
Coming off.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. It was a couple weeks where I was just super emotional. I didn't understand why.
Wow.
I mean, I told this story one other time. The North Carolina trip. I started dating this girl, and I was like, we were gonna go down to see a girl that was sick, very sick with cancer, and wasn't gonna make it. So I wanted to take the ride because she couldn't make it to Jersey. So it was already emotional. It was already upsetting. We knew she had terminal cancer. I was already upset, and I was gonna go visit my best friend Bobby, who was buried in North Carolina. So that was upsetting as well. And I literally fucking spent half that trip crying, and I was like, I'm really not this emotional that much. What the fuck is wrong with me? Well, I was in a new relationship. I was like, I don't need fucking antidepressants anymore. And I cold turkey them like a couple days prior.
Yep.
And bro, a tampon commercial would come on. I'd be like, ah! You know what I mean? It was weird shit, bro. And I'm not much of a crier, but yeah, the girl was looking at me. I mean, I still with her to this day, but she fucking was looking at me. We still make jokes about it to this day. She was looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong? She was crying at one point in the car, and I'm like, yeah, it was crazy, bro. Antidepressants are
That's
nuts,
nuts.
and
Good way to break the ice.
I'll never do it again. Never do it again.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just brutal honesty, man. That's the way it is.
Appreciate that.
So what led you to this field?
It was
What did you say?
a passion for science. I really enjoyed that. Wrestling, of course, fucking just fell in love with the sport. Losing my dad when I was young, right? So we even go back even further. I wrote my second book, Living Lean. It was like very cathartic. I was like, holy fuck. It's like I was sitting on a fucking, a shrink's couch and writing that because I'm like going back through these stories trying to tie it together. I was like, fuck, man. Like I've just been like trying to save my dad all these years. And also save the little boy from like losing his dad, right? I'm trying to help these people fucking live longer, live better lives, and like keep families together. And it like working with athletes was not an afterthought. I was just good at it, but I was just trying to help people. Like I was working with like bank tellers, and like I get a lot of satisfaction from that, right? Yeah. And like then Randy Couture gave me a job offer in 2004 to go be the head strength coach out there because I'm like a meathead dude, in the gym training and whatnot. And then the diet was kind of an add-on, so like jumped through. And I started, with like Dante Rivera when he fought Ring of Combat, like Jose Rodriguez, if you remember those days, and Pellegrino, right? So I was doing this, and those are still NHB days before Unified Rules came through, and I'm still running around doing this stuff. So kind of, you fast forward into like through that into then the Team Quest days, head strength coach Team Quest 04, pre-Tough One. Like, so Tough One didn't even happen yet. And I'm dude, there's no fucking money doing this stuff. And I'm in the gym literally cleaning toilets. They kind of like bait and switched me on the job offer, right? I was gym janitor. They pay me $8 an hour, 4 hours a day to do that. And then I coach 40 of the world's greatest athletes for free.
No shit.
Yeah, man, that was gangster. But it worked out, right? So I'm not complaining. It worked out, but that was some gangster as business on their part. And I think they got a good deal out of it too.
Yeah.
But in time, I was working with all these athletes, and then the whole diet thing kind of took off. There's a lot of great in the gym strength coaches out there, and I'm a good one. But the nutrition thing really differentiated itself. That's what everyone was talking about. All the athletes would come to me for diet advice, and they had, Randy the Natural Couture was there, right? They were coming to me for the diet advice, and that started to grow. Then other athletes would start to call me for diet advice from other teams. Then it was like, damn, it really started to grow in a straight word of mouth. And I wasn't even fan. I was like, dude, I'm a strength coach. Like that, I'm in the gym, like I'm writing strength programs most of the time. And I still love kind of that part of it, the physical training and whatnot. And then that started to grow. And I had to fight to make money. I had to fight to feed my family, right? So I like to fight. I was training every day. Like I was training pro practice, and Lindland was like, dude, he's like, what do you weigh? I was like 220. He's like, you make 70? How long? It's like 6 weeks. I was like, yeah, all right.
Damn.
It was like cut down, like, and then all of a sudden, I was like, dude, $500 cash? You fucking crazy? Like, remember those days, right? It's, early 2000s or so. Then it was like, damn, I could make a couple grand a month, I was making $8, $32 a day before taxes cleaning toilets. I can make $500 in one fucking night. Like, I'm in shape, and that kind of whole thing took off, which I think made me a better coach because I'd gone through, 30 plus MMA fucking style weight cuts and whatnot. And then just traveling with the athletes, and the thing kept growing. Then, Ultimate Fighter, I made my way on the Ultimate Fighter as a 4-4, like a journeyman athlete, right? So I get on the Ultimate Fighter.
The same year as Dante, right? Was it the same season?
Yeah, Dante? We were roommates, right? Because I was his coach, in real life. It was Dante was on the show, and Gerald Harris, the three of us. We all kind of, broed up. It was awesome. We had the best room in the house. Our own bathroom, like bunk bed, it was fucking awesome. And we were like the adults in the house, right? Because I was maybe 32. I was an older guy for that show, right? Even at that point, that was awesome, man. And Rampage, it's funny because on the Ultimate Fighter, I was asked to be in the corner of every athlete on my team, and then 2 athletes on the other team, which I think showed that I was.
Yeah, knew your shit.
The guys, they gravitated towards me, and I wasn't trying. I was like, dude, I'm trying to win this show and get the money, and like they all like, who do you want? I want Dolce in my corner. And it like that's I think just a byproduct I think of whatever this thing that I do is, and then kind of went through that. Rampage hired me as his full-time coach. Moved down from Oregon to SoCal to be with him for a year. Nobody trains in SoCal. For everyone in SoCal, you guys know it's fucking true. I mean, maybe now, but back in those days, nobody would show up on a beach day. Nobody's in the gym. Right. No one's in the gym 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, right? And I went to Vegas and I started this fit camp for women, so all the strippers, all the dancers, all the Cirque du Soleil ladies, and I was getting like $250 a month for them to come in. I had like classes of like 50 ladies, and then it was like plus diet, so hooking up with their diets, and man, it just kept growing. I put books out. We independent published our books as an independent publisher. Those things took off. And there's been a lot of things. I'm trying to condense, fucking 20 years, 15 years, and this quick part. But it really started to grow. So a lot of people, they associate me, he's that weight cut guy. Like, man, I'm a longevity guy. Right. I'm not a weight cut guy, but I can do the weight cut because I'm focused on the health of the athlete. That's why, and I do say we're the only team with 100% success ratio. Every other team or no other team has our success. We've never had an athlete ever miss weight, and we've worked with the worst of the worst. Hendricks 7 times, Alves 7 times, Rampage.
Hendricks, a guy that notoriously had hard weight cuts, right?
He missed 85. Yeah. We got Kelvin Gastelum, the 170.00 championship weight after he cut from 85.
Right.
I mean, you guys know those are some big dudes that had some weight cutting issues. Yeah. We got them down every single time. And I think it's because we were so focused on them staying healthy and not harming them. Rule number 1, do no harm, right? And then, of course, we have the science, we have the experience, and there's, these other, factors that I think we have that go into it. And that really just helped kind of grow the thing. And then what you were saying before, then, the UFC, Lorenzo Fertitta taps me on the shoulder. They have this concept for this program, and they felt I was the guy to do it. And I was like, I'll write the program. I don't want to be the dude on camera. I said, I'm not some on TV fitness dude jumping around with like the, you know, bleached hair or whatever, you know, that's like the P90X stage. And Landra's like, Tybo. It's like, you're the guy. It can't be like, you're the guy. It can't be anybody else. It has to be as real as it gets, right? That's the thing. They're like, how can we have anybody else except for you? Because you're the guy. And they know behind the scenes.
You're not an introvert in any way. Why wouldn't that appeal to you?
I don't enjoy that. And I didn't see myself as that. Like I don't want to be on like a TV guy. Like I'm glad I did because it worked out and it challenged me in very specific ways. I didn't think I could do the best job in that role. I thought, hey, there's better looking dudes with very aesthetic physiques that have the experience. I had never done that before. Now I can get up and speak in front of thousands of people. I do lots of military tours and all that stuff and speak to schools and all that. I don't care. I mean, about that. That's easy. I just didn't think I was cast well for that, in my opinion. And it's funny. Then they're like, all right, well, you know, go to L.A., go to West Hollywood, go up to the hills and meet the director and some of the producers. And then let's see what they think. I'm like, fuck, all right. I go up there, and I got like my little sizzle reel. Here's a bunch of different, you know, exercises to be working out. And it's like a casting couch episode. And I walk in, and it's like, you know, 3 ladies, you know, 1 black dude who actually happens to be Kendall Hogan. If you guys ever paid attention to the ESPN fitness show, he was this skinny black dude doing like all the workouts on like ESPN back in the early days, right? So, and I was like, holy shit, like Kendall Hogan. And he's like, hey, like, you know, it was just like surreal, right? And then they're like, all right, you know, take off your shirt and work out.
Yeah, awkward.
I'm in there like a polo shirt, like jeans. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, take off your shirt, work out. Let's see what you got. I was like, this is fucking weird. Like, and I was almost
that's when
like,
you knew this isn't for me.
I was like, this is not for me. Yeah. Fuck you. But I'm like, I'm here. Like, let me just roll with it and see what happens, right? And I have my boundaries for sure. And I kind of, you know, did that. And she's like, you're a people pleaser. I was like, excuse me? She's like, no, that's actually a good thing. You're actually trying to do a good job right now. I was like, okay. And like kind of, she's like, all right, great. Like you're in, like Kendall, you take care of him now. So that was kind of like that thing. And then Kendall became my coach to like teach me how to be that on camera guy. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes with that. Is like the way you cue, everything's on the opposite side because the person facing to their right side. So I show my left side. And I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to you. There has to be a individual connection, like this whole kind of, you know, weird thing, which was awesome. So I really appreciated that. Go through that. And in many ways, like I was very much beloved by the MMA community before that. And then when that happened, people were like, oh, that's us. How much this motherfucker getting paid?
Yeah.
And that kind of reared its ugly head. Then all of a sudden, articles about me doing well were like, Ronda Rousey looked bad on the scale. It's like, dude, she had dark shadowed makeup, like bags on her. Like, there's this weird thing. And the media kind of turned against me. Yeah. And a lot of the fighters also did. I didn't change. I didn't do anything different. Like, I'm the same exact dude, but all of a sudden I started getting trolled and a lot of negativity towards me. And I didn't understand it at first. I was like, oh, well, you know, this kind of a cool thing. It's an accomplishment. Like, you know, kind of like, you know, really humble. Like, wow, Lorenzo Fertitta fucking thought I was good enough to do this. Like, holy shit, this is crazy. But that kind of really turned. And then I got a little like hardened. I was like, all right, these motherfuckers out here, like in the MMA world, they have this negative opinion of me. They don't know me. Like people talking shit about what our diet program actually is. People making drug allegations about me or about our athletes. Like, you know, dickheads like fucking George Lockhart and these other assholes just making up shit to try and steal a little shine.
For those of you that don't know, George Lockhart is essentially another Mike Dolce. That's basically the same thing.
No. George Lockhart is a wannabe version of me. Who wishes
he trains athletes is what I meant.
Who wishes he had 10% of the credibility I have. In my opinion, he's a fucking terrible human. He's a horrible representative. And to my knowledge, he has the worst record in all of MMA for athletes missing weight and being hospitalized under his care. And that's something that I think is important.
For people that didn't understand, I just basically wanted. He does train athletes, right?
He tries. He tries. Well, he tries to get paid by athletes through any means necessary, in my opinion. And there's a lot of smoke and mirrors behind that. But guys like him would falsify statements to drum up press and media hits to gain attention. using my name. And there's lots of them. PR Cole was one, and there's a bunch of other names I can think of right now, but it doesn't really matter, who they tried to use as an opportunity to build their business. And I created the niche. Nobody was doing what I was doing. Nobody did it to the level. Nobody had the success. And all of a sudden people realized, like, wow, that's actually an industry. And I kind of opened that door. Now guys like Phil DeRue and Tony Ricci or Dr. Andy Galpin, there's other great coaches out there that I like and I respect and I want to see them do well. And they all kind of give me that, like, I don't want it, but they're like, man, like Dolce was kind of the first one in here. He kind of blazed the trail, which kind of opened the door for these other coaches to kind of get in and do it. But that's after like a 5-year turn of me battling other coaches, talking shit, athletes and teams and agents and managers, like other skills coaches. All of a sudden they had an issue because everyone's, counting your money. Yeah. You know how that goes, right? I'm successful in business. I've always been successful in business. I'm more successful in businesses outside of MMA and nutrition. I have a real estate company and all these other things that I do. So once people kind of understand that, their perception changes and it's not about the work anymore and the intention. And that's what I kind of thought. And kind of to wrap this up now, so now it's like, 2014, I'm already 4-time World MMA Trainer of the Year. I'm already, kind of as high as I could be. And now I'm losing money by working with athletes. They're not paying me as much as I'm getting paid.
Sports Illustrated featured you in an article, right?
Yeah, the most sought after coach in professional sports, they said. Not just MMA, they said professional sports. So I have a roster of athletes in all sports and Hollywood and CEOs and heads of state that we work with. And we fucking produce results, right? I get phone calls.
Is it possible for you to teach Frankie how to breathe out of his mouth instead of his nose so that we can hear you talk? Or?
I know. It's, like you said, the inflammation from eating.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. That's right, right? Dining down and you start putting the
I'm trying.
The challenging food.
my fucking co-host Darth Vader over here.
For real. I've been putting the mic away.
Nice. I lost my
Sorry,
track there.
Sorry.
No,
I love you, pal. Just couldn't hear well over your nose. Your nose breathing.
Nice. So don't know where I was.
Sorry,
specific.
pal.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I think kind of that whole picture is kind of like the course of the career. How did I get to like here right now where we are? Kids, right? And it's like, hey, time to transition out. I can't do any more of the MMA stuff. I don't want to delegate what I do. I'm not going to train other people specifically, because they're not going to do it with the same integrity that I have. And that's my issue with a guy like George, right? Yeah. Not to, touch his name too much, but there's an integrity that goes into this. People's families are trusting us to take care of their husband, to take care of their wife. The athlete's careers are on the fucking line. Their next paycheck, their mortgage, like everything is on this. And to just be so dismissive or so ignorant, and to not care, to not put 100% of your attention into ensuring success, that is unacceptable in this field, in my opinion. So I never work with more than 5 full-time athletes a year. How could I? You fight 3 times a year, that's 15 weeks, plus at least one training week. I'm gone 30 weeks out of the year, plus a little bit more. I do have a family that I'm kind of never seeing. So that got me to the point that it was, we're going to have kids now, and I'm going to be home. Like, I'm going to be waking my kids up and making pancakes. I'm picking.
That's what brought you back to Belmar?
That's what brought us back east. That's what kind of transitioned me. And once our athletes started retiring, guys like Chael and Rhonda, and kind of go through the list of the athletes, we didn't take on
because
anymore.
You said the name. How was it working with Rhonda? I mean, she kind of gets a reputation of being a little rough around the edges, but how was she from a personal?
Awesome.
I've never spoke to anybody personally that worked with her.
Rhonda would make tying her shoes look violent.
Yeah.
Right. She's just that type of chick. But
her stare down is the best in the game.
She means it.
Yeah.
Right? But super sweet. Yeah. Super professional. Super hardworking. Like, if she was supposed to eat 11 o'clock, I call her 11:03, she's chewing. Like, if she's in the pool at 5:01, like 4:59, you hear the splash. She's that athlete. She's Olympian, right? You don't get to that point by cutting corners. Never cut corners. And, she did what she did. I still think she's the greatest female mixed martial artist of all time. Yeah. Others will go on to have different records, of course. But Rhonda did what no one else had done up until that point.
She certainly paved the way for the rest of them. No question. I mean, no question. She's the Hoist Gracie for female MMA fighters. No question.
Yep. And, so I think that was great. And what she's done since then. She really like crossed over. That's fucking hard to do, man. Like hard to do what she's done. And now she can write her own checks. She can do whatever she wants. And that's, I think, what we're all trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Get to the point where you make the calls. You can do whatever you want.
We talked about that a little bit. I've not hating on Ronda Rousey at all for transitioning over. I don't watch it. I've never really been into wrestling at all, so I don't watch it. I wouldn't say I was a fan. I was certainly a fan of her when she was in the MMA ring.
Sure.
But, you know, I even posed the question to Frankie, like, would you fight Jake Paul? If fucking to put food on your table, you do a lot of fucking things, you know? And Jim Miller was in here, and I, you know, threw the question at both of these guys, and, you know, they're both unassuming guys that you would never think would do that. Like, they just, I can't see Frankie fighting a YouTuber, but to put food on the table, I mean, you do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Shit, I might fight Jake Paul. I'd probably lose, but
Jose Canseco, bro. Let's make it happen.
Jose.
He just fought. He took a dive.
Did
he?
he?
Took a
Did
dive.
he? Yeah.
10-second dive.
A long time ago.
He got. You know how much he made?
When I was supposed
10-second dive.
when I was supposed to do it, it was all to charity.
Okay, this wasn't charity.
How much?
This is the Barstool. So it's
Okay.
like Portnoy put out. He made $500,000 for the event, no matter what, $500, and then he got a piece of the pay-per-view. It was the most pay-per-view they ever had.
Wow.
So for 10 seconds, he made $1 million.
Wow.
Well, when
Good for
it
him.
was offered up to me,
Good for
Yeah,
him.
hey,
when
good
it was
for him.
offered up to me,
But to
fight
take a
him-
dive, I have a problem with that. A little bit.
Yeah.
I have a little problem with that.
Yeah.
Oh, you think you did it on purpose then?
That's, I mean, 10 seconds.
I didn't watch it.
bro.
I
don't
got
know.
I got to Google it. But
Who'd he fight?
back when I was big like that,
No. Yeah.
Sammy Sosa.
they
No, it was
offered
like
me-
the guy Billy or something, right? One of the an intern from Barstool.
Well, so then why would he take a dive?
Dude, because he made fucking $1 million. It don't matter.
Why get hurt?
He obviously doesn't care. He
Right,
don't
but
care
you
about
would
his
take a
reputation.
dive if you were fighting a badass, right? And you don't want to
No,
get
you take a
injured.
dive. You don't take a dive because you're fighting. You take a dive because you guaranteed the money, right?
Well, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I
Pay per
can't
view's
see.
already been bought. But
Listen,
So you would take a
And-
dive only if you were scared?
No, I would never take a dive ever.
Okay.
I would either not do it because I felt like, you know, for whatever reason, I could not fight up to the potential or could not work a full-time job and have 2 kids and invest the time. There's no fucking way I would ever. Bro, I trained with you for a little bit. I don't think I was ever a fucking pussy or a bitch or ever bitched out. Not that I was ever, you know, on a pro level or anything like that. But if I was in the ring fighting somebody, I would be prepared to do it. You know what I mean? But I never.
But I mean, honestly, you only have to be so prepared to fight Jose Canseco.
Well, I
You know what I'm
agree,
saying?
but the guy,
or
listen,
Billy the fucking
listen.
intern.
Well,
you know what I'm
Jose
saying?
Canseco's
You don't have to get that prepared. right?
Jose Canseco,
And
now,
you're guaranteed to make $500,000.
Jose Canseco now is a lot older than when it was offered for me to fight him. He was just out of his baseball career, and he was probably still juiced to the gills. Not that he's a good fighter.
well,
But I thought about it, but then I was like, I have to fly literally on my own dime to wherever it was, Ohio, and I don't get to keep a dime of
dude,
this.
I would have cornered you, bro.
Yeah.
Been great.
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
he would have took a dive again back then.
Me or him?
Him, he would've probably.
I would listen. I'm not saying I would have won, but I would have been there for the fight. I would have showed up and fought, no question.
that'd be cool for the resume.
Yeah.
Tell the
would've-
grandkids.
Yeah, we'll have to get him in.
It was like season
Dolce
1 of
Fit class.
Jersey
Yeah.
Shore. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I was probably in the best shape of my life back then too. So I probably.
Was that was about that time?
I was about that size. Yeah.
Damn.
About that size.
You're always this size, though.
No.
Well, I mean, no. I mean,
when I first moved here, you wouldn't even recognize me.
no. Yeah, I know you're a little fucking
That was
bean bowl.
That was a beanpole. Yeah. So I've been between 240 and 250 probably for the last, I don't know, I joined a gym and I'm going to say for the last 15 years or so. I think 240 is like my comfortable weight. I'm 6'4". I like to be 240 because I don't have a belly. 250, I mean, people get out of your way when you're 250, but I don't like the way I look with my shirt off, you know?
You getting blood work done?
Yeah. I mean, I have a cardiologist. I currently am on 10 milligrams of amlodipine, so yeah, I got a little
What's that?
hypertension going on.
Yep.
It's hypertension medicine, you know.
Can't you fix that probably through?
Well,
through
probably,
nutrition
yeah.
and diet,
Most
right?
likely.
Or,
Most
or
likely. We
working
can't
out,
say
right?
fix, but
Yeah.
we'll say most likely improve and most probably reduce
Regulate it.
dosage,
Since
come
my
off.
blood pressure isn't off the charts and I'm
What
on
was
a
it?
low dose, I forget it. Sometimes, I mean, now that I'm on the amlodipine, it's pretty much spot on. Unless I notice that if I have a fucking day where I'm just fucking stressed or fighting with the ex or something,
Yeah.
and I go in there and they take it. I mean, that's how quickly my
Dude, you got to tan your asshole,
it's
man.
daily. Yeah.
I'll fix it.
But on a normal day, it's regulated with the 10 milligrams of amlodipine, which isn't a high dose at all. But would I love to get off it completely? Of course I would.
Strong suggestion is always ask your doc, what do I have to do to get off this?
Yeah.
No matter what med you're on, always ask your doctor.
Right.
Push your doctors. Follow their advice, of course, but push them to get you back to baseline, get you back to normal, get you off the meds. Because once you're on a med, doses always go up. They almost never come down. And usually they start adding extra drugs.
Right.
And then you have to take drugs to mitigate the side effects of the drugs you're on.
Right.
And you're too young for that.
Yeah.
So it's like, Doc, what do I need to do to get off this? Like, hey, Rod, you need to lose 20 pounds. You need to start. Most docs don't know that stuff.
Get off social media.
The simple, social media, yeah. Stay off reality TV. The simple answer to that was really a two-part thing. He said, don't take pre-workouts. If you go to the gym, stay off pre-workouts.
Coffee, bro.
And cardio.
Yeah,
if you instead of going to the weight and lift heavy weights, he's like, I could tell you lift it. Do more cardio, which is definitely something.
Isn't like here's this. A lot of people. I mean, you know better than I do, but a lot of people think cardio to lose fat. Isn't lifting weights probably better for losing fat?
Building muscle, in my opinion, is the best way to burn body fat, right? Because the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. Cardiovascular activity is important, but there should be a good blend, and you should also focus on low intensity. We talk about
exercising your heart, and you're exercising your heart if you're getting
build that aerobic base,
right?
And then high intensity, but also metabolic resistance matters. You know, HIRT training, they say, high intensity resistance training. You have a nice blend of LISS, low intensity steady state, MISS, moderate intensity steady state, HIT, high intensity interval training, then HIRT, high intensity resistance training. You're hitting each one of those twice per week in some way, more of the lower intensity because you can do it more often without getting hurt, and less of the high intensity. So interval training, once or twice a week. High intensity resistance training, 2 to 4 times a week. The low intensity stuff, man, you can do that, and you probably should do it almost every day.
So if you could offer the average, not a fighter, not someone like Frank, right? The average person, I consider myself to be the average person, although I do feel like I've made the gym a lifestyle as best as I can. But the average person out there, whether it be male, female, works a 40-hour week, got 2 kids at home, has limited time to make it to the gym, has access to a kitchen, which all of us do, and access to a food market. What would be your general advice to them if they just wanted to live a healthier lifestyle? I'm saying they're built average. They're not 400 pounds. They just want to live a healthier lifestyle to live longer.
The average person right now is 20 to 40 pounds overweight. So that's the average person. We'll say they're about 30 pounds overweight. And most people need to lose twice the amount of weight they think they need to lose in order to look the way they want to look. Right? So the girl who wants to fit into the dress or look good on the beach, or the guy in the board shorts and the tank top, double the weight you think you have to lose. That's what you actually have to lose to look that way. Doesn't mean you have to look that way, but that's double, just so everyone understands that. Now, there's 4 pillars. There's diet, there's exercise, there's proper rest, and stress management. Those are the 4 pillars of health. And I could kind of debate which is the most important, sleep or stress management. Diet is actually third, and then exercise is actually last. Now, the first 3 are very important together. So it's not like food doesn't get blown away, but your food doesn't have to be perfect. Your stress management does, and your sleep does. Yeah. Sleeping less than 6 hours.
2 things I probably struggle with most.
That might be, and that's kind of the easiest thing to fix, is what we say is 9 hours before you have to wake up, go to bed. Go to bed, like hanky-panky with the girl, scroll the gram. That's like, hour 9 to 8. And then you're going to be guaranteed 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Get your ass in bed 9 hours before you have to wake up. Netflix will be there tomorrow, right? All your shit will be there tomorrow. But then wake up on time and try your best. You go to bed early enough, you wake up without an alarm clock. That is a big stressor, right? So let's get that out of your life where you're just waking up. Your body's naturally waking up now instead of like, fuck. No matter what, we got people, we got fucking military operators, emergency medical responders, like split shift workers, long haul truck drivers. We work with everybody, right? Doesn't fucking matter, man. 9 hours before you have to wake up, go to bed. Make it that simple to start.
And which isn't a problem, I think, for most people, but I think what is super key is turn off all electronic devices, because that you can go to bed 9 hours early, but if you're standing there staring at your phone, you're not sleeping. Yeah. So that's key. That's important.
And I give myself that time where, like, I'll scroll in, Instagram, check out some fucking YouTube stock stuff or whatever it is, and it's like I got 15 minutes to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna just binge on, and then it's off. Then it's bedtime. Eyes shut, go into my little trance, fucking fall asleep. All of a sudden, I'm awake again, and naturally awake, right? Yeah. That's the way to transition out in, transition out. But you mentioned something also. What we try and do is we try and shut off the overhead lights. We go to like kind of low, floor lamps in the house, got some candles going. We start to like dim everything down as the sun goes down. And that's a little kind of like borderline, like hippie, fucking hokey pokey, but it's very accurate also. There's a very calming effect to that. The volume on everything goes down a little bit, get the kids in their jammies. We all got our little jammy routine and getting the kids ready for bed. Kind of cultivating that routine where this helps you transition from one stage to the next stage, right? You don't just fucking wake up, fuck, I got to go and do this. Man, that's a horrible day, no matter what it is. Stress management. You got to fucking pay your bills on time. Manager, and this, people are like, why the fuck is a fitness dude talking about finance?
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's stress, man.
It's true, yeah.
Income versus outgo, right? That's the number one thing people need to fucking focus on. Get out of debt, get all this stuff off. We talk about that. I won't bang on it here. It's a huge stressor, though. You got to get your fucking money right. Income versus outgo. Manage your fucking finances. Pay your bills on time. Pay your bills early. Like, I try and pay my shit a year in advance. I automate every single thing I can. It runs out of a separate account. I don't even have to think about it. I make sure it's funded every quarter. We're fucking good to go. Whatever I can pay far in advance, fucking done.
I am programmed exactly like you because I stress my ass off if like a bill's coming up and I'm like wondering how. But some of the most relaxed people I know are people that don't fucking pay their bills and have the worst credit score ever.
They're not relaxed. They're fucking
really?
Flexing.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Who's to be fair, I have a 0 credit score. And that's something I speak about also. I don't even show up on the fucking credit list. No leads,
because
no
you
loans.
never established it and you just always paid everything?
Buy everything for cash.
Yeah.
Cars, my house, my fucking everything. No credit, no nothing. And
how does that behoove you, though, to live in the world we live in now where you can't buy a house unless you have credit, unless you're paying cash? And how many people do that? If you bought your house cash, I'm impressed.
But all my houses cash.
Did you really?
All my investment properties cash.
Wow.
I drove a 1992 Buick for 7 fucking years when my buddies were driving Land Rovers. They're still fucking paying lease payments on Land Rovers.
I know that car.
92 Buick. Oh, it was beautiful. I fucking
My
loved
grandfather had that car. Yeah.
Sweet, right?
Yeah,
And I sold it to a single dad who was riding his kid to school on a fucking moped in my neighborhood, and I probably would still have it today.
That's awesome.
But got rid of that, and I don't say this is a little humble brag right now, but coming from where I came from, I said earlier in the show, my home was foreclosed on. I saw it.
Yeah.
Foreclosed on, knocked down, turned into a fucking parking lot. Still once or twice a week, I go and I stand in the parking spot because it's in my town. So I stand in the parking spot that my bedroom used to be just to kind of remember where I came from. And I live on now the nice street in my town in a multi-million-dollar house that I fucking bought for cash.
Good for you.
It's because of this work ethic. And a lot of people are like, Dolce, that's impossible. If this dumb motherfucker could do it,
right?
Honestly. If this motherfucker could do it, why can't other people?
Well, starting off small is hard for a lot of people. Most people don't want to start small and build. I mean, most people want to. Most people want to max themselves out to the hilt and have a nice house, but be maxed out every month to pay for it.
That shit doesn't work. Long term, it doesn't work. 2008 crisis, we know what happened there. Pandemic just happened last year. I know a lot of good people who lost their fucking businesses because they were over leveraged. Many and most people actually did because they were in debt.
Right.
I would rather live in a fucking 600 square foot studio apartment for $600 a month than to have a 4-bedroom house.
I would not disagree with that statement at all. Yeah, not at all.
But that's the attitude. And with that, and this is, I run a certification course, and it's a fitness conference. We actually teach coaches how to run businesses like I do. I think I've done a pretty good job in building, 20 plus years inside the fitness industry. We have a global brand now and all this shit we got going on. I try and teach coaches how to do. I started in the gym for fucking slanging weights, holding the clipboard, $20 a session, chasing people all day just to get paid, right? Started there, been through it, did it. How do you come out the other side? Well, you become very intentional with your decisions. You're aware of the results of those decisions, become very mindful. Again, but it's that slow and steady. And you go through the lean times, right? You live in a little $600 a month apartment, which I did in Portland, Oregon. I rode a fucking bike to work or to the gym. My wife had the car, and she was making her, little money doing her little job.
So you got a ride or die. Your wife's been with you since you didn't have
20 years, man.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, 20 years. And I think hopefully that's indicative of character also.
Frankie got a ride or die too. Me, not so much.
Not so much. Keep hanging out with this guy, man. It rubs off, right? And I think that's a strong point for me also.
Yeah.
You have that relationship. I think it's certainly indicative of my values maybe and of course hers, but there's something that goes with that.
Yeah.
And everyone's situation is a little bit different. But we're talking about the people at home. Man, you got to get out of debt.
Yep.
I listen to Dave Ramsey show all the time.
I've never heard somebody in your position, somebody that's in the fitness trainer or dietary world or whatever. I've never heard anybody ever say that before, but it makes total sense. It really does. It really does.
Fucking black belt,
Yeah,
homie.
yeah.
Most people don't even know this shit. They think they know what we do, but they have no idea.
Yeah.
They have no idea because we are at that fucking Elio level out of respect, to not cross the streams too much. I've been doing this for so long at such a high level, so focused with so many petri dishes around the world, right? Work with the greatest athletes for decades now and high-level operators in industry, right? And to have all that data, to have all those experiences, and I just constantly applying the scientific method. We learn from it, we move on, and then we test again. We learn from that, we move on, we test again. Where I sit now, I see it's these levels of stress is what stand in the way of people eating the chicken and the quinoa. It's because their fucking bills are fucked. They don't take the time to sit down and say, "Hey, baby, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with you in your day?" And to like connect with their wife or their husband and see what their kids are doing. Dude, your kid's on the fucking iPad for 4 hours. You don't pop in and see what they're doing.
Right.
You don't how good. We're all dads in this room, right? You don't take the time to do that. To go and like rake your neighbor's leaves. To like just put that goodwill out there into the community, man. This stuff, to me, it matters. And I could be totally fucking wrong. And I could be completely living in this false reality. But all the data shows that I'm not. And all the data supports this idea.
I don't know about raking your neighbor's leaves, but at the very least, be neighborly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you wake up every day and you like your neighbors, you're in a less stressful environment,
I got some old neighbors, around.
Roger's a dick.
Yeah. No, I do have one asshole neighbor, but everybody else I get along with really well.
Rake is it him or her?
It's a her, and she hates everybody in the neighborhood, not just me. So
Just random act of kindness might turn the table.
Rake her leaves.
She might not have got that hug she needed when she was a little girl. And here she is 70 years later, acting out as a result. But when we talk about that, you get all your houses in order, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's the way it should be. So if you're amazing in one area, you better fucking be amazing in every other area and apply that same skill because you've proven you can already do it. Yeah. Now, sometimes people, they cheat their way into success in one area, and it's all facade. The dude with the fucking, the big house with the big mortgage and the fucking lease cars in the driveway and the maxed out Amex card and, the fake ass Rolly or whatever it's out. We all know that. That's a house of cards. That's going to collapse. We know that story. Maybe he dies of the heart attack, stress related at 52 years old, whatever. Old lady fucking leaves him because she's sick of the bullshit. However that goes, that's a very cliche story. So we like to just dial things back and make life simple. It's already crazy enough, right? Yep. Tone things down a little bit, make it easier. So stress management, sleep, we covered that. Exercise, do something you like that challenges you. Go for a walk, touch the mailbox, come home. Go to the next mailbox the next day, come home. Start there. Like, it doesn't have to be hard,
That's good
right?
advice, yeah.
Super easy. And then food. Food is probably the easiest. Don't be a dickhead. Are you being a dickhead right now? Should you be eating that right now?
After I just had a beer.
You don't, right. Yeah. But I'm saying, you don't need me to tell you that, right? You can pretty much, now you want to fucking, make, 146.00 at 4:04 p.m. on a Friday. Well, maybe you need to bring somebody in to help you with that. Like, you want to get that, 4.7% body fat and be the fucking sexy, sexy gal shaking her ass on the boat that one weekend in the summertime. Sure, you can hire someone to do that. But the vast majority of people, just don't be a dickhead.
Right.
Eat the things that you should.
Some people are just genetically gifted too. Genetics is a huge part of
Absolutely.
it. That I think, if you're not genetically gifted, you have not even a little. You have a much tougher path ahead of you. But everybody has to put work in. Whether you have genetics on your side or don't.
Absolutely.
So and everybody has their strong suits too. So
yeah.
Frankie's never going to be an ear model, for example.
No.
You never know.
Rogers never. Might be a.
Here we go. Calf model.
Calf model. Yeah. He's not gonna fucking sell any pumps tonight. Oh man, I was gonna say you'd be a good. What are those jeans? Like stretchy jeans? What are those?
Skinny jeans? No, man, you'll never catch me with a pair of skinny jeans.
What do you mean, bro? Those jeans are screaming right now. Are you kidding me? What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't have big legs, buddy, and I train them. I don't skip like that, but I'll never be a skinny jean guy. I can't see you with skinny jeans on either. You a skinny jean guy, Mike?
No. I'm
sweatpants.
These are about most of the jeans I wear right now. Sweatpants for life.
That's awesome. What else, Frank? What else we got?
No, man, this was great to hear. I think, obviously, not even for fighters, just for the layman. You know what I mean? Like that's just keep it simple. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, obviously it's easy for me to say, this is my life. You know what I mean?
You're
I
a different
train,
animal, man. Of course.
I work out. I
3
eat
different weight classes,
for
man.
my
It's
life.
crazy.
You know what I mean? But for the person that's just at home, I mean, you know, it's little things.
That's it.
But he said, I think that the sleep and the stress is big. People don't realize that, you know? And that's what kills me, bring it back to the coronavirus. I'm like, oh, he was healthy. I'm like, why was he healthy? If you're not healthy because you're not sick.
Yeah.
If you're not eating right, sleeping right, not stressed, and working out a little bit, you're not doing all 4 of those things, you're not fucking healthy.
That's right.
Am I right?
You're damn right.
In reality, though, right now in the time we live in, I mean, fucking everybody's a little stressed, man. You turn on the news, you're stressed. I don't watch the news
Don't
anymore.
turn on the news.
I know.
Right?
I agree. You know, but social media, even if you just scroll, that's kind of become the new news.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to have some level of stress in your life. I mean, it's the world we're living in now, you know. So, you know, for me, that hits a little home because I know that is one of my battles. I struggle with stress. I do. I always have my entire life, and I there's a lot of things I could do to work on it, and I shouldn't just talk about it. I have children, you know, so I shouldn't just talk about it. I should, and I will.
Walking, as a quick aside, like walking outside does wonders.
Really?
Just 30 minutes a day.
It's one of my favorite things to do. I do it often with my kids. We find like a new place. I call it Explore New Jersey. We go all around.
I saw your Cape May post.
Yeah,
was awesome.
Yeah. I love just going finding new places, and oftentimes it's finding a park and hiking it. You know, so
best thing ever.
My kids got little legs; they can't go too fast, so it's pretty much walking.
Nice.
But
Nice. Yeah, get out and move, man. That's a big thing for the average person. Just get out, get outside.
I agree.
Cold day, bundle up, go for a walk. No podcast, no outside stimulation, and just go be with yourself for a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm down with that.
Nothing like fresh air, man. Nothing like it. Which you can't really get in New Jersey, but
my fucking neighbor rolls up on me. He's like, "Hey, you remember, Joe Smith?" I don't want to say the name. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, he's dead." Cancer. He's like, but you live in Jersey, you're gonna get cancer anyway, so fuck it.
What?
Just move back here, dickhead.
Highest levels of cancer, I believe. I might have this wrong. I know it's highest level of autism in the entire country, but I think it's highest level of cancer too.
I think Delaware.
Really? Is it Delaware?
Because we almost moved to Delaware. I was looking for like tax havens coming back out of Vegas, right? And I was like, oh, maybe Delaware close enough, far enough. And then I was there, my buddy's like, yo, like he lives in Virginia. He's like, look up the cancer stats in Delaware.
Really?
Was it Three Oyster Island? What's that? Is in Delaware or something, right? What is that called? Three Creek something?
They were blaming the chicken. I think it's where
3
like
Mile Island. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Right? Isn't that
well,
Delaware?
that's a nuclear power plant.
Is that in Delaware though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly of what it was, but we looked up the stats. It was pretty alarming.
That's radiation.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, just eat right, sleep right, and you'll fight the radiation best you can.
That's right. We're ready. we could beat the Rona. We can beat the radiation. Why not?
Well, Michael, thanks for coming in, man, sharing with our guests. Obviously you have a extensive background in this. Been in it for years. Worked with the best people, and you're obviously still doing it currently. So it's good to talk to our clients. Hopefully, Roger, we can get him in shape.
To prevent me from having a heart attack. But before we let you go, Mike, address the people. Tell them where they can find you on Instagram. Talk about your webpage too. The Dolce diet
and the book and he hooked us up with some coffee.
He did.
And was the book The Lifestyle?
The Living Lean Cookbook Volume 2.
So I'm about to put my wife to that. I don't cook, I eat. You know what I mean?
My man. As you should. Good Jersey boy. Just the Dolce diet. Anywhere you go, whatever you type in the Dolce diet, we have an online weight loss program, 4 and 12-week personalized plan, the #1 rated online weight loss platform created by myself, team of registered dietitians, exercise physiologists.
So when people sign up for that, they directly correspond with you.
Not for this one. This is the automated version. It's very cost efficient. It's incredible, right?
Okay.
We spent a lot of money building this, not just because most of the programs, they're template based.
Yep.
You weigh 200 pounds, he weighs 180, you get the same program. Ours is the same level of care that we put into every one of our private clients. We spent the time to build the rule engine behind the system to make sure that every time you answer a question, the formula changes so you get the most optimal meal plan down to the gram, down to the ounce, to every single ingredient is there for you, and it's all healthy food. It's not some fad bullshit. This is evergreen nutrition content, well vetted, science-based. That is delicious, right? Our meals are pretty spectacular. That's there for everyone. We have registered dietitians on staff. People can work one-on-one with their own registered dietitian. if you need that, like, yeah, man, that's there for you also. One-on-one with a registered dietitian, which is awesome. I have a certification course and fitness conference at the end of this month, the 26th through the 28th. So if people are interested in that, that's at dolcedietshop.com. But just type in the Dolce Diet if you're interested. You know, I put out a lot of free content. Most of the stuff I do is free. I put out mostly free content all day. I do live Q&As on YouTube, on Instagram. We have 1,200 articles on our website at thedolcediet.com. And it's all free stuff.
That's great.
So like, take whatever you want, use it, and just make better decisions, man. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like your story from beginning to end, man. It makes a lot of sense, you know, with how you ended up in this field and how it started off with, you know, your upbringing and your dad passing away and stuff, man. So yeah, interesting. Got a lot of insight on you today, man. It made me like you a little bit more. So I've already been following you, but
I appreciate
maybe I'll get on that Dolce diet.
Yeah, it's not a diet; it's a lifestyle.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Before you leave, brother, you got to sign the board.
Oh, hell yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Check out Mike, the Dolce Diet. You know, like you said, just type it in, he'll come up. So thank you, brother.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
Good times.